Welcome to the Ladies Talk Show. This is your host, Leah Richheimer. Did we go deep last week or what? Like, hello, hello. That was awesome. You guys are sending in the best questions. Info at ladiestalkshow.com. We will answer them on the show. Amir Hashem. Okay, fine. What do you got me, Gila? We gotta follow up those awesome, intense things from last week.
Okay.
Okay, Gila, what you got for me?
Okay, so Estee's question is, my husband keeps encouraging me to exercise and says it's because he wants me to be healthy, but I feel so hurt as if he's just calling me fat.
Okay, I totally hear you. Totally hear you. So my first question, Esty, is what did he say when you talked to him about this? I mean, if you did, email in. If you asked him that, tell us what he said. If you didn't ask him that, then I'm going to tell you now what to do. But he might have said, "Oh no, it's nothing. It's not because you're fat." But again, if he's a fitness buff and that's what he wants to, he's always taking the kids hiking and stuff like that. If he's doing that, then it wouldn't be that. But if he's not a fitness buff and he's just saying you should exercise, I could see how you could feel that way. But the first thing is you really need to communicate with him and find out, um, you know, sorry, not find out, but share with him how it makes you feel. The most important thing is to be able to communicate with him about it. And you don't have to be mean. You don't have to say, "Hey, why did you say it?" That thing, whatever. You just say, "I'm not sure if you realize that when you asked me that you wished I exercised more or whatever, um, it made me feel badly. Like it made me feel like you're not happy with me and that it kind of made me feel like you're calling me fat." And I also don't think like if I wanted you to exercise, if I harped on you about it, I don't think it would make you want to exercise more. So not only is it hurting my feelings, but I don't think it's going to be effective. So I'm not sure what to say. I'm not saying that as a threat or anything like that. Again, you keep backtracking yourself. The softer you can come across, or if you make a mistake or say something harsh, just say, I don't, like if you said something came out harsh, right? Say, I'm sorry if that came out harsh. I didn't mean it to, but I've got a strong emotions about this and it kind of hurt my feelings. So if you share that with him and say, if it comes out that it is because he wants you to lose weight or whatever, say, that I'm doing the best I can. I've got a busy life and, you know, so I think that would be the way to handle it is to have a conversation with him about that. And in terms of your own internal, being able to feel close to your husband when you feel like he is pushing you away in a sense. You could even share that with him and say, it made me feel like you know, were pushing me away, that you didn't want to be close to me, and that hurt me even more. And I'll say, no, that's the furthest thing from the truth. And then you can say, if it's not getting anywhere, if he's not getting you, if you feel like he doesn't understand. You're really speaking from your heart. You're not putting him on defensive. You're not making him feel badly. You're not being mean. That you really, from the softness of your heart, as much as you can, you thought about what you're saying and you said it, and he's just not getting it. Then you can make a ground rule and say, listen, I know we've been through this and we've had this big discussion about it. I really don't feel heard or validated. And maybe you didn't, that's not by intention. Maybe it's a women thing. This is how women would feel, and guys just can't understand it. Okay. I can hear that. But we're going to have a ground rule where you can never tell me to exercise ever again. Not one time. I mean, I don't mean to be harsh, but I think, the same thing. If you, let's say you didn't pay the phone bill and I kept saying, when are you going to pay the phone bill? Why didn't you pay the phone bill? How come you didn't? When are you going to do that? That would just make you crazy. Think of it the other way. When you say something about me exercising, it hurts me deeply. And so we just, as much, if you make a mistake, it's fine, but then you owe me an apology. Okay. So that's the conversation you can have with him. Try off the very, very soft things. And if that doesn't work, you got to lay the ground rules, for your own sanity. And he's got to know this topic is off limits. It doesn't necessarily ease your heart because I get it. You felt it made you feel fat. Every woman feels that way. that she's every woman I know, she's gonna be the thinnest thing. Like, yeah, no, I could lose little pounds. This is America, or the Western civilization, that you have to be skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. 100 years ago, fatter and fatter and fatter showed you were wealthy enough to afford food. So don't ask. But this is where we are. Maybe it is healthier. Who knows? But you got to set boundaries for that if you feel you can't reach them. Okay. Best of luck to you. Boy, that's
Okay.
what we all have, right? That's like a global issue.
Very
Yeah,
relatable.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
very
Okay,
relatable.
so Maya's asking, my husband's boss is a bully and I keep encouraging him to leave. It's affecting his mental health. It took him a long time to find a job, so he tells me that not having a job will affect his mental health even more. I've run out of compassion because there is a way out and I'm fed up living with his suffering.
So what I'm not understanding about this question is why she thinks it's her business.
Because the mental health part is affecting her.
And if he says his mental health will be worse if he is if he's unemployed, that's that's his call. If he thinks
Right.
that. Now, if she thinks though that's not true and he whatever, I could hear that, but this is his opinion and she's just not respecting his opinion. That's what he said is that's how he sees it. That's his judgment call. And the fact that she's questioning his judgment makes him question his own judgment and makes him, you know, if she bolsters him and respects him and shows him power, I'm not saying it's her fault, but if she does that, maybe he would have stronger self-esteem, so he wouldn't get so much bullying from his boss. You should just know some statistic. I mean, I'm making this off the top of my head because I read it a long time ago, but it's something like 38% of employees are bullied by their bosses. What? I hear that like, what? So, I mean, they must be encapsulating bullying as like, no, do that because I said so. That probably is bullying. Is that as bad as someone saying, you know, you don't know anything and, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a bully expert, but I'm just saying there are gradations of what's horrible and but that's a pretty disgusting statistic. And I might be getting it wrong. It could have been I know it was really, really high. So I don't know. That's almost 38 is almost half. So maybe it was 28. I don't know, but you get the point. It's very, very common. And I can respect his opinion that he says, I'll be worse off if I'm at home doing nothing. So at least he's bringing money in. And for whatever reason, God, maybe, your husband has a special koyach to take abuse, right? Unfortunate, but if he has that a koyach and he brings money in from it and feels like a productive member of society, or I'm sorry that he has to deal with that, and I'm sorry you have to deal with it. But you got to respect his opinion. It's his business, and the more you can respect his steering the ship instead of elbowing him, get out of the way, let me steer the ship. The more you can respect him steering the ship and how he steers the ship, the stronger his esteem will be. A woman can make or break her husband. You be the kind of woman who makes her husband. Good luck on you. Very good. Very good. Okay, what else you got for me?
Okay, so Leah's asking, I wanted to know if feeling more financially secure is a fair need to have.
Okay, so she's talking about from chapter, was it 3? I think chapter 3 in Marriage Secrets, that where we talk about needs versus wants. And a woman, when a woman's making a demand of her husband, she's all his needs and she's got all her wants and they're all mushed together and she just makes demands on him 24/7, right? And so in chapter 3, you're going through and you're getting clarity on what your needs are and your wants. You could get your wants met all day long and it would never make you happy. But if you got 3 of your needs met, there's a level of joy that's available to you more than you can possibly imagine. So what you do is you write down all your needs and wants. You cross out your wants. You circle your needs. You prioritize them. You take the top 3, and you try and get those 3 needs met. And the wants just fade out of the distance. So for this one, that's what this woman has obviously done the exercise, and she said, is it fair to say financial security is a need? So it's a very valid question. Um, my question to you is, when you went through and circled all your needs, right? How high up on the priority list was it? I mean, if you ask, somebody really, really sincere, would you rather have a husband who is totally devoted to you, or would you rather have financial security? Most would probably pick a husband who's totally devoted to you. Would you rather have a husband who was validated your wacky opinions? You're like, what, we should do this, we should do that, whatever. And most husbands would say, ah, that's ridiculous, whatever, and just make you smaller, not expressing your biggest self. That's too much money, that's crazy. And they keep, shooing away your ideas. But you're married to a guy who you say, oh, we should do whatever. He says, fine, I'm packing the thing, let's go. Right? So would you rather have a husband who validates your the way you love to live your life, or would you rather have financial security? Probably most people would pick somebody who validates their. So this is a choice that you have to choose which needs are. It's introspection to knowing yourself, but everybody falls back. And when I used to work for singles, I don't work anymore. I work Shalom Bias now exclusively. But when I used to be teaching women how to, clarify what they need in a husband, everyone's talking about financial security. And I'm like, it's so American and whatever. And I get it. You want to be able to, know, can I afford, what can I do? I have food on the table. I get it. But on the same token, they completely ignored the other deep, deep spiritual needs. And I've got gorgeous proof for you about this. Have you ever been in a home where mama, they didn't have 2 cents to rub together? I mean, I remember in Yerushalayim, literally, they had taken a loaf of gefilte fish, and it was paper thin on everyone's plate, with a little paper thin carrot on the top. Okay. And there's such a joy and contentment in that home. That's because the woman's needs are met. And maybe a million other reasons. I don't know. There's a Shekhinah coming into the home. Maybe they're following our Shalom Bayis Masorah so beautifully, and the Mavater to each other and so forth. But money had nothing to do with it, and you wanted in. Like, okay, I'm moving in. Can I share the bedroom with you 7 people over here? So that's the proof to you that financial security, while it's nice and it's, whatever, and maybe it's driven from your childhood, you grew up very poor and now you want money, but it's very, very crucial to figure out what you really, really want deep inside, your emotional needs and your spiritual needs from your husband. And frankly, that having that at the top of your list means, if you've got your top three, that means you're at 1/3 of what you really need is you're squandering it. So if you are terrified and you can't sleep at night and maybe it should be one of the top three. But I would think there would be far more important spiritual things to you than that. And that's going to be some work on your part to do that introspection. Okay. Best of luck. Fantastic question, because I think a lot of people have that. It's very good. Okay. Do we have time for another question?
We have time for one last question.
One last question. Okay, fine.
Okay. So this person's writing, Leah, I need some chizuk. My husband had a job opportunity for a large client, over $10 million project. And I had concurrent work meetings, and I said I couldn't watch the kids. We tried to get help outside, but no one was available. He tried to take the client on the phone, but the client refused to talk to him since he couldn't show up in person at the time the client specified. I'm feeling so guilty that I didn't bear the brunt of the childcare and inconvenience of interrupting kids during my work meetings. He has been struggling to make consistent money, and we need to cover debts from this past period of low work. However, I'm still fairly new to my job, and my job makes consistent money paying our bills. I'm looking for some words of wisdom. Is this a learning opportunity? Was I being selfish? Was this client not meant for me? What to do? Question mark.
Hmm. What does it mean? What's the last thing? Was the client not meant for me? What did that mean?
Like maybe Hashem guided her in this direction and they weren't meant to work with that project owner.
Oh, the project owner for the husband one.
Exactly.
Okay, okay, fine. I got it. Oh,
Maybe that was a part of the equation of why it didn't work out. Or
right,
is it
right.
all on her and she should have done more to make this work for her husband?
I got it. I got it. Wow. Wow. Oh, so I'm sorry that happened. Gosh, and I would imagine she's probably eating herself up with guilt,
Right.
right? Yeah.
A big sum of money, and her husband didn't have a job for a while. So,
$10 million they would have had, or like a commission on it or something, probably. I don't know. $10 million. I'd be like,
yeah. Yeah.
I'd quit my job and run home, so
I
it
mean,
must be.
even if it was with commission, she's still getting a lot out of it. And it was a
Yeah,
big,
yeah.
the point isn't, I don't think the financial, the point is what it would do for her husband's ego, I think.
Right, right, exactly. You're good. You're coach. You're good. She's been trained. Yeah, you took it to the next level though, Gila. You're awesome. Okay, so let me just think for a second because you know, the thing I don't understand is when she said I couldn't, this is like the crux of it. For me, I'm just trying to rethink, am I thinking this right? The crux of it is when she said she couldn't come home and watch the kids. And so he was stuck with the kids. And I assumed that was their routine. Um, because, if she has the steady job that's paying their bills and he's got commission type of thing. I don't know. I'm making stuff up because I'm not positive on the situation, but that's what it sounds like. But in any case, this will still answer the question, which is I'm just curious at that point. What's the lady's name?
Shane D, I didn't mention in the
Shandy.
beginning.
Oh, okay. All right. Shandy. I'm just curious, Shandy, it, at, at that juncture, when you were trying to figure out what to do, why did you make the decision? Why did you get to make the decision? There's some shift that needs to happen in your marriage where that should for sure be your husband's decision. It should be his choice. You should say, oh, here's what, I can't come home to watch the kids because I might jeopardize my job. I'm if you tell me to come jeopardize my job, then that's what I'll do. I'll come home if you think that's worth it. And if he, that should have been that's your husband's job. That's his, look, I know people who have never heard any of my other shows are like, wow, you're a feminist, whatever, what are you saying, right? But here's the thing you got to understand that there is a king in the home, one king in the home, okay? And it's your husband. It's not you. That can make us. I remember I was had a huge audience of people or whatever, and I'm like, everyone wants to be the queen, but everyone wants to marry a king, but they don't feel like acting like a queen. And here's what a queen needs to do. And a woman raised her hands sheepishly and she said, Leah, I don't want to be the queen. I want to be the king. Hello, welcome to our Western society. Thank you. So the point is that there's one ruler in the house, and it's the man. And that's the way Hashem created the world. That's the division of labor that Hashem gave us. Okay, as hard as it is to hear. Okay, but here's what you have to know. When you do that and follow the Masorah and follow what Hashem says, there is so much bracha that is going to pour into your home, guaranteed, right? You don't need to, this isn't Leah Richheimer's lovely idea. It is guaranteed by God Himself. So much blessing will flow into the house that, like, whatever the stair banister is broken, and suddenly you twisted it all the years, nothing ever fixed it. You put some gum in there and it fixed, or whatever. Whatever. I'm just saying every little thing. Bracha comes in is parnasa, it's health, it's your kid does well in school. It's that the carpet that you bought that you have to replace it every year, and it's $27. It's so annoying, this front door mat. You bought one, same one, and it lasted for 8 years. Why is that? Because there's bracha in the home. So I know what I'm saying is not the easiest thing to hear, but where the error was made is in not following your husband at that point and saying, what should I do? What do you want me to do? And if he said, and you don't trust his judgment, right? Because he's made so many bad mistakes in the fact, and he said, come home and you lose your job. And he also doesn't get the commission or whatever. Now, this is when you've got this opportunity. Hashem, I did what I needed to do for Shalom Bayis. Okay, I listened to your words. Please bring bracha from this. It was very hard for me. I lost this job. I liked it and I was paying the bills. We're going to go further into debt. Hashem, please help me. And he will. Guaranteed. He promises you. If you work on Shalom Bayis, he will bring bracha into your home, and that includes parnasa. It might take a while. You may not see it immediately, but I've heard enough stories in the last several decades where people say, Leah, you can't believe what I did. You can't believe I followed. The one woman for 6 years, her husband was trying to close a deal. It was something in a warehouse they had been trying to buy, and it was in court and blah, 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 blah. And she said she was taking a 6-week course with me. For 6 years, they had been trying to buy that thing. Towards the end of the course, she came in after the course, everyone was walking out, and she came and she hugged me, rocking back, and she said, the deal closed. The deal closed. I'm kind of set for life. My husband now has a warehouse where we've got parnasa, that whatever, and then we could even turn around and sell the warehouse right away and make money. But it's going to be my husband's business. We've been trying it for 6 years, and I know it's because I worked on Shalom Bayis and I started respecting my husband and I started letting him run the ship. So I promise you, no, I don't promise you, sorry. Hashem promises you, a lot bigger promise, okay? Hashem promises you that if you follow our Shalom Bayis Masorah, bracha will pour into your home. So the answer to this is you did make an error there by not putting it in his lap and saying, you decide, okay? Now your job is to go back to him and say, I've been thinking about it. I feel so guilty. I think I made a mistake. And I think part of it is because I'm so in the habit of, we've had a rocky road and we're in debt and whatever. And it's been hard for me to feel like it's on me. But what I really know is you are the captain of our ship. And I wished I had listened to you that day. I wish that day I had said, what should I do? And let you make that call, because you're the captain of the ship. And I'm going to do my best going forward to treat you like the captain. You know your husband, you know what will reach his heart the most. And then follow through on it and start doing whatever you can to lift him up, to raise him up, and to treat him like the king. Okay? Hard work, but the rewards are infinite. Did you hear me? The rewards are infinite. Okay, I get homework. The homework for this week is one time this week, ladies, do one thing that totally raises your husband up and treats him like the king. Best of luck with it. This is Leah Richheimer for the Ladies Talk Show. We'll see you next week.